Well, hello again. It's another nice sunny day in Arkansas, in the 50s today. Oh, boy, I tell you, considering what we've had in the last few days, rainy, cold, miserable weather, this is great. This is like being down in Florida or something. Let's go see what we can, what damage we can do today here. Before completely firing up on the T-Bird today, and it's going to be a short video. It's not going to be a long one. You all know who have, those of you who've been following my videos, in addition to the Thunderbird, I'm also fiddle farting around here with a Zenith radio, a 7S 633, and we had a motorboating problem. It's been solved. It was a wire in the wrong place. Shouldn't even have been there to begin with. I removed the wire. It's good to go. But we have an oscillator problem now. It's not oscillating, as proven by this radio sitting next to it, doing a tuning. No effect at all. Now I get a noise on the tank circuit for the antenna over here, but nothing, no squeal, no oscillator, no anything. The next thing I want to show you is I have received a package from Gary in Salem, Indiana. Gary from Salem, Indiana. Good feller. He sent me a package with a little note, and it says, Merry Christmas, hope you enjoy the dealer promo cars. One has a Philco radio in it that needs fixing. I tried to find a Wimbledon white 1966, but I wound up with a 65 and a red 66. Maybe your car paint, maybe you can paint the red one white and fit the radio into it. No, I got some, over there, some Wimbledon white paint. We can just paint the whole thing if it needs to be done. He said, whatever you decide to do with them, I hope you enjoy them. Signed, Gary. And he also sent a card here. This is real nice of the guy. I can't tell you how I appreciated that. He sent a card here. Check that out. And since wifey has a, let me get a little focus here for crying out loud. Come on, camera. I hate it when it's white in the background. The camera doesn't want to work on white too well. And we have a dachshund, so we understand what that poor little thing is going through. Even though our dachshund, his legs are a little bit longer, he still would wind up with the snow up to his neck. Oh my goodness. It was real nice. This is warm wishes for a happy holiday. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Gary. Thank you, Gary. You're a fine fella. Now let's take a look at what he sent. What we have here is a 1966 red Thunderbird. Is that cool? This is going to go up there. I've got the Thunderbird model that was sent to me by Ron C. And I haven't put that together yet. I hope to get to that soon. And this has got the radio on the bottom of it. No, this is not the one with the radio on the bottom of it. The other one is. And it looks cool, huh? 66. I mean, it'd be nice if my car turned out looking at least half that good. And the other one here is in this box. I really appreciate guys, thinking of me about stuff like this. I don't mind getting stuff like this. This is kind of cool, little trinket type, things to do with the T-Bird. I hope he didn't spend a whole lot of money. I don't want that to happen. But this is the white. This is the 65. The 65 T-Bird. Yeah, that's cool, huh? Now that's almost a Wimbledon white right there, And he says it doesn't look Wimbledon white, but it sure does to me. This one here does. And it has the radio on the bottom. It's a Philco. And, of course, it runs off a little battery, a little transistor radio connector battery there. I don't know if I'll ever get it working or not. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's just really neat. I appreciate that to no end. The holidays are coming up. This weekend I'm shopping with my daughter downtown. I'm going to take her to a Chinese restaurant. We're going to shop for wifey's Christmas. I haven't bought her a thing. Not a thing. I feel terrible about that. But it's just the way things have been going around here. We all know what that means, don't we? Shout out for Gary in Salem, Indiana. Well, let's see what they look like now. After a week of soaking in the vinegar, I had to bring it into the shop where it was warmer. I found out that at least I think, I had it out in the garage and cold vinegar was not working as well as warm vinegar. So I brought it in here and let it warm up for a couple days, and then I shut the lid. Let's see what they look like now. I'm expecting, and I've been taking a small, this small brush. One time I pulled them out and took this small brass brush and just kind of knocked off the loose rust. There's a lot of loose rust. It looks like it's all still there, but when you start, taking a small brush and rubbing it, it just rolls right off. So let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, well, things are looking a whole lot better. Look at that. Look at that. Well, I'd say they look pretty good now. I gave them one more scrub down with the wire brush, and as you can see already, within a matter of minutes, there's already a coating of rust forming. Isn't it amazing? So we'll take them in the house now, wash them down with soap and water, and give them a good scrub down that way. Put them in the oven, dry them off, and bring them back out and put some primer on them. Our axle housing and differential housing is now completely painted. It's been primed and painted, looking real good. Now, of course, once I put it back up in the car, it's going to be manhandled by me. It doesn't weigh that much, but there'll be dings and bangs. It'll hit the paint. It'll take off some of the paint right down to metal, actually. You can't help it. And once we get those, I'll just spray. I'll just hit them with primer again, hit them with a little more black paint. They'll be fine. It just happened. That's just the way it is when you work on cars, when you're doing it manually by hand. And right now, I'm going hog wild here with this primer on the hangers. They're nice and clean now. You can see it's pretty pitted though. Not a lot of pitting on these hangers, but this is very, very thick metal, so it's no big deal. We'll go ahead and get these hangers all primed up and looking good. Maybe, I don't know, maybe before the day ends I might even be able to get them painted black. Depends how much black paint I got left. How much time, and how the temperature's holding up. The temperature's been holding up real good today for me, so I don't know. Now, before I go any further, I want to stop right now. We have a new Thunderbird series that has been uploaded to YouTube. I want everybody to go over there and check it out. It's a 1964, and the channel is Gordon Miller. Space in the middle between the two names. Gordon Miller. 1964 T-Bird. He's working on it. He contacted me. He was telling me about his Thunderbird. He's got it in the garage and all that, And I said, well, why don't you do a YouTube video on it so we can all take a look at it, He said, yeah, okay. So he came back and he says, okay, I took your advice and I did a YouTube video on it. So there's a 13-minute video up there. You all go take a look at that and, support him. He supports me. He supports us. We can support him back. Gordon Miller, check him out. He did a very good job on his first video, by the way. He said it was a little rough. I didn't think it was rough at all. So take care of that young feller. One other thing I want to cover here before I forget. The primer I've switched to that works a whole lot better than all the rest of them is this Rust-Oleum primer. It's filler and sandable primer. It does a good job of filling in small stuff. It doesn't really matter on big thick giant metal like this. It's no big deal, but this is quick. This stuff covers almost in one coat, just bam, 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 and it covers fast. So the only place I've been able to find it is Walmart. Back in the automotive section. I don't know why. I just can't find it anywhere else in town. A final note here on these Thunderbirds. Our Dodge van transmission sprung another leak. Don't ask me why. It lasted 10,000 miles after I put that stop leak in there. It did great, and then the other day it started leaking again. I said, I'm not going to mess with it. Took it down to a transmission shop, and I said, here, fix this thing. Anyway, the guy down there at the transmission shop, he and his partner there, we started talking about old cars. And they knew a lot about old cars, which was great. Somebody I could actually talk to who knew what a 65 GTO was. Oh, anyway, we got talking. He said, do you have an old car? I said, yeah, I got a Thunderbird. And he said, I told him the 66. He said, the 64, the 65, and the 66 T-Birds, people just don't buy those things. He said, they're not, for some reason, they're just not attracted. They don't bring a lot of money. And I'm thinking, he's right. But I don't know why. Why would this car, the 64, 65, 66, why would they not bring decent money? I think they have a great style to them. They were kind of a cross between a luxury car and a powerful car, with the 390 or 428 engines. Oh, just amazing stuff as far as design went. I thought it was fantastic, especially the convertible. Oh my God, the 65, 66 convertible. Well, we've got plenty of vinegar left, so why let it go to waste? Let's take all the rest of this crap I've got down here piled up that we took out the leaf springs with. We got our shackles with the nuts on the end. We're just going to throw that down in there. This is the bent shackle. I may wind up having to buy new shackles for this. I can buy those on the internet, no problem. Depends on the condition after I get them all de-rusted and what they look like. I'm not going to have something that's unsafe on the back of my car. You know, I keep repeating this. It's okay if you kill yourself in your own car, just don't take anyone else with you. Alright, you know, you're driving down the highway, and moms and dads and kids and everything, you want to make sure your car is as safe as you can keep it. And here's those bushing large washers, and here's the bolts for the, see, these are the bolts for the hangers, leaf spring hangers. We'll put them down in there. What the heck, you know, let that vinegar do the job for us, you know. And then of course here's the 4 bolts, you know, the 4 nuts. I think, what are these for? I don't even know. These are for the I don't know what they're for. I'm wanting to say they're for the shackles, but I don't think so. They might be for the, I don't know, they might be for the U-bolts. I have no idea. We'll worry about that later, won't we? Yes, we will. And then of course we have the 2 U-bolts for the rear universal joint where it connects on to the differential. We'll throw them down in there too. Now keep in mind that vinegar does not do well for dirt. It's not going to take your dirt off. It'll take that rust off, but if you've got dirt or grease or oil covering the rust, you're eventually going to have to get rid of that and re-soak it so it can get to the rust. Now we left off with the last video where I was going to have to clean up the differential. I haven't got to that yet because the temperature's just been freezing. You know, today's the warmest day we've had in a long time. It's just wonderful out here. I just love it, you know. But it's only going to last a few more days, so I'm going to have to, I've got to get this cleaned up somehow in the next day or two. But back to our little springs, and these center pads and these center pad anchors or holders or whatever you want to call them. I've been soaking this nut here, thinking that it was holding this on and the bottom half as well. But you know, the other night I was sitting there watching TV and I'm thinking, wait a minute, that may not be the case. That bolt may just be there to hold the leaves together, and this thing may be being held in place by the rubber, and you know, from being compressed all those years. So I'm going to drive a screwdriver up in there and see if I can't pry them off. You know, so if so, I wasted a lot of liquid wrench. But once I get them off, then we'll be good to go, if they'll come off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screwdriver and a hammer. Yes, I have a big old screwdriver here. I'll take a screwdriver and a hammer. Can't hurt anything no matter what. Maybe the screwdriver get damaged. I'm going to drive that screwdriver up underneath there with a hammer. Then I'm going to try to lift it up and see if I can't pry it loose. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Well, well, well. Exactly as my brilliant brain thought. Look at that. Pried right up. The only thing holding it in really is the rubber around that bolt that goes all the way through the leaf springs. How about that? Let me see. Maybe I can have you watch me take it off the rest of the way. I don't know. Let's try the hammer. Ta-da! How about that? Looks like I got another job for the vinegar. After I remove, see that rubber pad down there? I'm going to have to order brand new of those, that's for sure. It takes 2 for each leaf, upper and lower. Let's see if I can knock the bottom part off here while you're watching me. Nope, probably going to take another 2 hands to get that one loose. Another pry with a screwdriver. Well, she finally came off, but not before I removed this big old rubber thing that was sitting on the top around the bolt, around this thing right here. Once I pulled it off with a pair of pliers, it worked okay. But boy, I'll tell you what, these were in rough shape. Look at that. Not in good condition. I'm glad I've decided to go ahead and replace them. Well, that's it. All the metal brackets, I'll have to, like I said, put those in the vinegar. Now here's those, what they call center pads. They're really thick. I don't know if the new ones, the replacements, or reproductions are just as thick as the old ones were. But we're going to find out because I'm going to need 4 of them. Now, there's one other thing that we need to do before, you know, I told you once before, or early on, that taking this stuff out of the car is the easy part. Getting it back in is the hard part because you got to do certain things before you put it back in. And one of them is these, let me see, let me flip this on over. See, right here we have bands around the spring. There's around the leaf spring with another rubber deal underneath it. There's 4 of them. There was one right here, but it's missing. As you can, oh, here it is. It slid all the way down. They do come loose after a while, okay? And you have 1, 2, there's 3, and 4 on this set of springs. Now I'll go ahead and tip it up and see if I can take one off. Here's what the other side looks like. Now, I'll be buying brand new ones, so it doesn't matter what I do to these, but you know, sometimes you can salvage them. I would never salvage this crap. Let's see if I can bend it up there and get it off. Now, I wouldn't be able to use these even if I wanted to. After I bent the tabs up, as you can see, it just popped right off. Just rusty, nasty crap. So, let me see. See if we can get this off. That's all it is a band around it with a rubber. And you can buy those also. You can buy those. I think they sell them on Max Thunderbird, or I think Rock Auto even sells them. You buy 4 for each spring. There's pros and cons. Some people say, well, you don't need them. You know, well, I want them. I want them. They're not that expensive. Why not put new ones? Okay, the last item on the list, which I probably won't get to, as I said, for a day or two, is our differential. It needs to be cleaned completely. Boy, I tell you what, that's going to be a long-term job. And as far as changing out that seal goes, I may take that downtown and let somebody else do it. It takes 200 to 300 foot-pounds of, you know, torque to tighten that thing up the way it's supposed to be. You have to do what's called a preload on it. I don't have the right tools, and I don't have the strength to apply 200 foot-pounds of anything, maybe even more than 200, 300 foot-pounds. So let's get her cleaned up and get her looked at, but it will have to have a new seal. And it may even need a new bearing and a new race. I don't know. At any rate, our good subscriber, John, a.k.a. Lockmeister, he said, you know, maybe, he's telling me, maybe you ought to get a tetanus shot before you work on that. He's probably right. I'll tell you what, guys, that's it for now. I'm going to go ahead and clean up this mess. I don't think there's anything else to show you today. And the temperature's starting to go down just a little bit. And I'm going to chunk this in the bucket and sweep this off, and I guess until next time, this is John. The old hangers are turning out well too. Now I'm really showering down with the black paint on these. You know, with the primer and then the black paint, I'm putting a lot of it on, really thick. If I get a couple of runs, who cares? It doesn't matter, because when I get done, I get it up into the car, it's going to be covered with undercoating. So I have a few extra drips on there. I don't see any right now, but if there's one that materializes, it doesn't matter. It just means extra protection. I'm really going to make sure it's covered well. That plus the undercoating should enable it to last many years to come.